back to Talking Ted, or welcome to Talking Ted, a show underneath the Pop Cult X umbrella. I'm Danny, and along with Tori, we're here today because we love Ted Lasso and we love talking about Ted Lasso. So we're on episode 5 of season 3 of the show, which is called Signs. And much like the M. Night Shyamalan movie of the same name, this episode is full of misdirections, mystery, a little bit of suspense. So I'm going to borrow a quote from that movie, Tori, to get us started here. So I'll tell you, go ahead and swing away, Tori. Swing away.
Swing away. Oh, I don't think I've seen that movie, actually.
Oh, okay.
So
well, then you will get that reference.
I'll have to go back and watch it.
Yes.
But I love it. For people who have seen it, I'm sure you probably totally get that. For me, I'm excited to go and figure it out. That's okay.
So what do you think of this episode?
Oh, man. It was a lot going on. It was a lot. And I wasn't a huge fan of the ending. We can get to that. We can totally get to that. But man, I mean, Signs is a perfect name for this episode because a lot happened with the psychic readings that were a couple episodes back, and maybe signs that Ted is now seeing, things happening back home. Keely seeing signs in her workplace. So I could not have thought of a better name for the episode than Signs.
Very true. Very, very true. I guess we could break down the episode from top to bottom or start to end if you want. Or we could just, pick moments that really stood out to us. You said right off the top, right, the ending you didn't really favor as much. So why don't we just start at the end? Tell us. I want to hear this, why you didn't like the ending.
Man, so obviously, fast forward, they lose the game to Man City. And we have a famous TED talk, one of his speeches in the locker room and all that stuff like that going on. And it is really motivational. And Ted does a great job at sort of, telling the team like, hey, we're sort of once again in this dark forest, but we can get out of it. We just need each other. And, we'll make this happen. Basically, we're going to steer the ship the right direction. And that's kind of how it ended, with the talk in the locker room. And and then of course Jamie looks at Roy and he's like, 4 a.m. and he's like, yep, you be there. So I like that part about the ending. We can still see that Roy and Jamie are still working hard, waking up early, doing 2-a-days. So that was a kind of a sweet, funny reminder moment, but it just kind of felt empty. It just felt like there should have been more. I don't know. I feel like maybe all the other Ted Lasso episodes have ended on such a cliffhanger that I was just like, oh, that was it? Okay. So I don't know. I think this was one of those episodes where, because it ended this way, I think the next one's just going to be freaking insane. They're kind of letting us off easy because I think a lot is about to happen in this next episode, which is the infamous Amsterdam episode. For those who might not know, Twitter has been sort of hyping up this episode for a long time. There were some spoilers online about it. I'm not going to mention them because I don't want to spoil anything for anybody, but apparently this is going to be a pretty wild episode.
Well, just to piggyback what you said about the ending of Ted Lasso, I think it really speaks to Ted being a coach of men. And what I mean by that is that he comes from an amateur, the college ranks, right? So he's never really managed a professional team before. And he's really a developer of men, a father figure, if you will, not only to his own son, but to the whole team. And that's the way I think he approaches his coaching style. So his speech, I thought was very, one of the best speeches that I could see giving to someone who really needs motivation, because it's really just believe in yourself. But it wasn't. Right. It was more than just believing in yourself. It was believing your. I think one of the quotes I read was believe in yourself and believe in one another, and that's the fundamental to being alive. And I thought that
Mm,
really stuck with me because that's so true. You can't do it alone. You have to do it with other people to help get you through and navigate this life. So I really, really enjoyed that speech. I didn't have a problem with the way it ended because it just showed they focused on the ripped up sign, right? So
right.
basically saying that that sign in particular didn't really matter because the
Mm,
belief is within yourself. It's just a sign
yes.
on the wall, like you see right here. I'll get rid of that next time. But
Right.
it's just I don't know. I really enjoyed. I thought the ending was. It didn't feel as hollow to me as it might have to you, but I enjoyed it. I mean, I thought that speech to me was just one of the best he had given so far.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, the speech was great. Like I was ready to run through a wall for Ted after that. I think such a powerful image just seeing the sign and seeing Ted rip the sign up even more.
Yeah.
I think
Hmm.
very powerful. It's definitely one of the best speeches he's given in the show. But I don't know. I thought for sure there was going to be maybe another scene after that or something.
Like some
So
sort of comedic element.
yeah, like some
Yeah.
sort of funny or suspenseful. Like I said, they always sort of end on a cliffhanger, and it just
Hmm.
wasn't there. So I was like, okay, like this is kind of a different ending, like alternative ending. I don't know, but no, the speech was incredible. Um,
There
I
was
think
a
one thing we. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say another speech that was really incredible, and maybe you were gonna mention this or not, but it was Roy Kent's way of dealing with bullies. He walks into the room at 4 a.m. with a giant rope painted red, and you just start beating them, and and then you start
The
laughing, and
joke
when
that never ended. The joke that never ended. It just kept going. Like, oh, he's actually serious though. We see Trent Krim drop his whatever, it was like coffee cup or a ball or something in his hand, and they're kind of like, oh, okay. I feel like you're speaking from experience, bro.
Mhm.
And Ted's just like, maybe we don't need to go this approach. Maybe we'll talk to Henry and see what happened. He's like, oh yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Like that was intense, man. That was pretty good. And then even leading up to that scene too, obviously he was saying that because Ted gets a message from Michelle, like, hey, there was a bullying incident at school, and Henry was involved. And this whole time, Ted's thinking, oh, well, Henry was obviously the one getting
Hmm.
bullied.
Hmm.
And that was Roy's response to, oh, well, we'll take care of the bully for him. Coach Beard says we can fly back to Kansas and make it to his house by 4 a.m. or whatever. But as the show goes on, we come to find out Henry was the one who was the actual
Right.
bully. And that kind of rattles Ted to his core. He just can't understand how Henry is capable of something like that. And I think even more so that Ted's not there to help.
Yeah.
And it really just salt in the wound whenever Michelle's like, oh, yeah, the therapist guy that she's dating now just took him out on a
Hmm.
walk at the park to get some fresh air. And so it's now, this guy's stepping into Ted's role as the father when Ted should be there.
Right.
And so I think we see that cast a little bit more doubt in Ted's mind. And am I supposed to be here with the club? Should I be back home? But luckily Henry realizes like, hey man, like I messed up. I should have listened to you. You told
Hmm.
me your breathing exercises to calm down. And I messed up and I know I did. So he kind of owns it. And Ted is obviously very proud of him, but we just see that whole situation sort of bothers him the whole episode.
Yeah. Yeah. I think and it stuck with him. And speaking of breathing exercises, we see Ted avert a panic attack by doing his breathing exercises. So
Yep.
that's something that from a previous earlier on in the show that he would not have been able to avoid. So that's growth in his character. So I was happy to see that.
Yes, it was definitely growth. Weirdly though, I almost wanted him to sort of experience that with the other coaches around. I think every time he's had a panic attack, it's been by himself.
Mm-hmm.
Um, or, obviously Rebecca was there for the first one. But I think it would be really powerful imagery to have the other coaches see him, maybe experience that and see how they come together because they know about them. But they've never actually seen it happening to him.
That's a good
So I
point.
thought that could have been an interesting moment there. But I am glad it does show like he's sort of still struggles with that, but because of his work with Sharon, Dr. Sharon, he has been able to sort of manage it more. But it's still, I mean, is Ted gonna pop, or as Beard said, is his mustache gonna pop off at some point because he keeps suppressing these attacks? Sometimes you just gotta let them happen,
Mm-hmm. True. Getting back to the first part of the episode, after we learn that this is like their 7th loss in a row or 7th non-win in a row, I guess. And Rebecca comes into the manager's office and, are we ever going to win another match? And that interaction. And then everyone's pointing a different direction where North is. And I thought that was very funny and very clever way of really showing that the coaching staff doesn't have a clue right now of how to help the team. So I thought that was funny. And then I'm laughing because I'm remembering it when they're trying to figure out what formation to run. If we stay with 4-4-2, we're F. If we go 3-5-1, we're F. If we go 5-3-2, we're F. And then you hear Trent Krim off in the background saying, give a little noise or a smirk or something. And then they're asking for his help. And he's like, I'm here to observe. And then he talk about how he's like a nature documentarian and watching an innocent monkey get devoured by hyenas. And they all start making monkey noises.
And then, of course, Roy with his gorilla noise. That was cherry on top. Like, that was so... Because he wouldn't have made those monkey noises like everybody else. But, of course, that was so good. That was so good. That was I love that they're involving Trent more. I think he's going to start playing more of a role in the next few episodes too. I think they're ramping up to him being more involved. I think another one of my favorite moments, sort of piggybacking off of what you talked about, Rebecca yelling at Ted. We see this moment in the hallway that's just so rom-com-esque. I got like such Parent Trap vibes or whatever. And they're walking by each other in the hallway, and they look at each other awkwardly and they turn around. They're like, hey, and she apologizes for yelling at him. And she goes, I'm sorry I bullied you. And you can see it like strikes a chord with Ted. He's like, that's weird that you would say that, the word bully.
Right.
Kind of what I'm expecting. And then he says, yeah, I'm kind of psychic. I knew you were going to talk to me about yelling at me. And she's like, wait, what? Because she has a moment in this episode where she's at a coffee shop. She runs into her ex-boyfriend, who's now engaged to a woman who calls him her shite in knighting armor.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And so that's call back to the early episode where she visited the psychic and she said, you're shite in knighting armor and you're going to have a family and all this stuff. And so we're slowly seeing these predictions come true. And so you can just see when Ted says, sorry, I can be a little psychic sometimes, she's like, that was weird. Why would you, psychic? And she said bullying. So then they both just walk away very awkwardly like, I just thought that was such a perfect scripted, rom-com moment. I think our Ted Becca stans got really excited after that moment saying, look, the universe is bringing them together in all these weird ways. I'm going to leave it at that. But, fast forward to another very important moment in the locker room when everyone's feeling down. And Jamie's like, you know what? Stop it, guys. Like, it's time to stand up. Said, stop being sad little bunnies or something. Little bunnies, he called them. And he has a pretty good rallying speech. But then, of course, Zava steps in and sort of steals the thunder and he rallies everyone. You're not going to win because of me. You're going to win because you're a team and you worked together. And Jamie's like, I just said that, and the locker room goes crazy, which leads to our next big point with what happened to Zava.
And I think the ending speech that you're talking about, the ending line, together you can win it all, or you can win. So he didn't say nothing about himself or we can win it all. You can win it all, which of course, moments later, next match, he's nowhere to be found. The team finds out through his, I'm guessing, Instagram or Twitter account that he has decided to retire and focus spending time with his family and tending to his avocado farm.
And his wife who he's obsessed with. He doesn't watch any other women. All
Right.
other women are smudge, and he doesn't watch movies. He just watches his wife. Yeah, that was quite the surprise, but we called it, right? We said he's not going to finish the season, huh?
Yeah, it was just going to be a flash in the pan, and he was. And I think all throughout the episode, you hear people telling Rebecca and other people, "You're lucky to have Zava. You're lucky he's there. You can't win without him." And now he's not there. And of course, they didn't win the last Man City match, but moving forward, we'll see how that plays out. So I think that him leaving will be the rallying cry they needed to come together and work as a team, because as they said in this episode, the talent is there.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's not the talent that's the problem. And we get a first little glimmer of not dissatisfaction, but because Higgins didn't like having to tell Rebecca this, but it was the first time we hear someone say, "Fire Ted."
Yeah. And he skirted, I mean, he didn't want to say it. He skirted around, adding hundreds of, adjectives and metaphor, it's just trying to avoid saying like, we might have to possibly maybe think about firing, and she's like, I don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about, I'm switching the subject. So Rebecca moved on, and, we see her later on go to a clinic where she tries to see, now the psychic's getting to her head a little bit, and she talked about having a family, and, Rebecca wants to go see fertility wise, is she able to get pregnant? And we sort of end that on this very ominous call. We hear the doctor call her back with her results, but we don't really hear the results.
Right.
And so, but we can tell she's disappointed. So what were the results? Like, can she not have kids anymore? Is she a little out of that age range, or is something else going on where we don't know? So I think we're going to find more out about that in the coming episodes. And then, of course, we can't forget this either, but Keely, she finally fires Shandy.
Yes.
Which does not go well. She has this whole scene storming out.
Just the Jerry Maguire scene.
Jerry Maguire, yeah. No one wants to go with her. She's offering them double pay and all this stuff. One guy volunteered. She's like, not you. But she makes it her mission to bring down Keely by starting her own firm. And of course, gets back with Keely by putting the sheep in there from the early episodes. And the sheep just, poops on everything. So her and her boss, Jack, end up having a long night cleaning up all of that mess. And in the night, sort of very romantically, lighting candles. And as we know, they end up hooking up. So what do we think about that?
I think you said it best with the hooking up. I don't think it's going to be anything more than just a healthy distraction for Keely.
Oh, so it's long term.
No, I don't. I think she just wanted something to forget about Roy, because remember when they were talking about their breakups, and she said, "I don't want to talk about him because it still hurts too much."
Right.
So I think it was just a healthy, fun distraction. Maybe it could lead to more. I think Jack possibly sees it that way, but I think for Keely, it was just a fun, healthy distraction.
Ooh, so this could lead to some trouble down the road, possibly. So we'll have to keep our eyes on that. There's a lot of different relationships in this. We've got the boss and the player with Rebecca and Sam. We have, the therapist and the ex-wife with Michelle and her new boy. We also have here the founder or the funder and the business owner. So it's very interesting. We're sort of getting all these different relationships in the show. Two of them haven't quite worked out yet. So, I think it might be a little more long term, but I like that you think it might just be sort of a one night thing or a temporary thing. So we'll keep our eyes on that.
Well, they were both drinking heavily as well. So
true. Oh, will there be some regret in the morning? We'll have to see. And then of course, finally, we can't forget to talk about here Nate and his date with Anastasia, the model. I thought it was hilarious that he called his mom first and practiced.
He was practicing.
He was asking her out, but he was practicing with his mom. I just thought that's him. That's his true character. He's still not confident. he's still sweet Nate on the inside. It's just clearly such a facade. He takes her to the Greek restaurant in Tooting's, and she is not impressed. And Jade, of course, pretends like she has no idea who he is, forgets to take him to the table in the window. The date, it goes well at first, and then it goes how I think we all thought it was going to go. He's better than that face.
I thought it was hilarious when they first walked in, and she's like, Shelly, reservation. It's like, and you, miss?
Like, they're not together.
Yeah.
And he's like, we're together. Yeah, that we see the manager be awestruck of both of them. Oh, the finest table. But very quickly after they sit down, she's not impressed. And she says this place isn't very nice. And what are we doing here? Nate's trying to defend it. Like, hey, this is a special place for me. My family, we celebrated all my big moments here.
Yeah.
So I think that was a little foreshadowing. I think we're going to be back at this restaurant. Something big's going to happen there. But, she clearly hates it and hates the food and leaves. Tells him she's going to go out for a phone call and ends up hopping in a car with her friends and leaving. So we end with a sweet video or a sweet moment of Jade finally walking over and showing, like, I kind of knew who you were this whole time, sort of a thing. Like, so maybe this whole act of I don't know who you are has been a facade. But she sits down with him, says, enjoys that he stood up for the restaurant, and then they kind of end talking with each other, like very date-esque. Seemed more than just a friendly thing. I don't know, but they end the night sort of talking together, and I think it was very sweet and just a great way to kind of show, like, hey, the old Nate is still in there. He doesn't care about this fame and fortune, maybe as much as we thought he did, and this is sort of the real him. So I just loved that scene so much.
Yeah, and I wonder if he took her to that restaurant to kind of make Jade jealous or impress her in a way. Say, hey, look, I am attracted. I am like wanted by other people. Maybe because I think from the first interactions we ever saw between the two, I always thought that he had a thing for her.
Oh, yes. I did think that too. And so, I mean, that could totally be it. I just thought more like, this dude has never dated a celebrity. He has no idea where to take a celebrity on a date. He doesn't know all this fancy schmancy stuff. So he just took her where he knew.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
But I could totally see your side now. So I don't think this is the end of Jade and Nate Jelly, as they call him over there. So it'll be fun to kind of watch where that goes. And who knows, maybe they might end up together or don't know. But I think it was a little bit of a wake up call for Nate. Like, maybe he's not so cut out for this famous life and life with the high rollers and the celebrities, or, and so I just thought it was a really Nate is still in there moment.
Yeah, and I would say when he got not stood up, but when he got left there at the dinner table, I really didn't feel bad for him at that moment, because I guess the way he's been. I mean, had it been before his whole West Ham role or whatever, I might have felt bad for him if he had been left there, But now in his current character arc, I didn't feel bad for him. But I am glad that Jade came to him and they were able to make the best out of that moment.
Yeah, I agree. I think it was a moment where we're not supposed to feel sad for him. We're sort of supposed to feel like, he didn't need her anyways.
Yeah,
So, oh man, what a crazy episode. What a crazy episode. I think we've got a lot more coming after this in the next one. So I can't wait to see next week.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. And I'm glad we get to come back next week and talk about it.
Woo, let's go. Let's go. Greyhounds. Come on, turn this thing around, baby.
So thank you everyone for tuning in, and be sure to come back next week and we'll see you then.
We'll see you. Bye guys.